I pulled the trigger on my brother's life with a single email, and the echo still rattles in my skull like a bad hangover from too much cheap whiskey in a dive bar off Route 66. Not a real gun, God.
No.
We're Americans. We do our killing with keyboards and court filings these days, but the kind that unravels empires built on lies. The kind that leaves you gasping in the wreckage of your own hypocrisy. My name's Oakley, and if you'd told me 5 years ago, fresh out of that hellhole county lockup in rural Ohio, that I'd be the one holding the smoking cursor, I'd have laughed it off with a middle finger and a Pabst Blue Ribbon. It started in the sticky summer of 2018, back when the world still felt like it owed me something. I was 23, fresh-faced and foolish, crashing on the lumpy couch in my parents' split level in suburban Cleveland. The house smelled like mothballs and Mom's overcooked pot roast, the kind that stuck to your ribs like regret. Dad was a mid-level exec at some insurance firm downtown, the type who quoted Ayn Rand at barbecues and believed in the bootstrap myth like it was the 10th commandment. Mom fluttered around him like a moth to a porch light, her pearls a shield against the chaos of 3 kids, me in the middle, invisible as the filler in a Big Mac. Then there was Landon, the golden boy. 3 years older, with that all-American jawline and a Wharton MBA that cost more than our family's annual grocery bill. He was the one who got the chest-thumping hugs, the proud of you, son slaps on the back. Landon worked in fintech, some slick startup in Pittsburgh that promised to disrupt banking for the little guy. He drove a leased Audi, posted LinkedIn humble brags about closing deals over craft IPAs, and had a fiancée named Brittany who looked like she stepped out of a J.Crew catalog.
Me?
I was the screw-up, the kid who dropped out of community college after 1 semester of staring at textbooks like they were written in hieroglyphs. Oakley's got dreams, Dad would say with that pitying chuckle. But dreams don't pay the electric bill. The betrayal hit like a sucker punch from a bar fight you didn't see coming. It was late August, the air thick with cicadas and the faint rut of Lake Erie on the breeze. Landon called me into his old room, now a home office stacked with dog-eared copies of The Intelligent Investor and framed photos of him shaking hands with venture capitalists. He looked wrecked, eyes red-rimmed, tie loosened like he'd been wrestling demons. "Oak," he said, voice cracking like cheap vinyl. "I need your help. Just this once." What he needed was a fall guy. His startup wasn't disrupting jack shit, it was a Ponzi scheme wrapped in blockchain buzzwords, siphoning grandma's retirement funds into offshore accounts. He'd cooked the books, fudged audits, the works. SEC was sniffing around, and the feds were one subpoena away from turning his corner office into a cell. "If they pin it on me," he whispered, "it's over. For all of us." Dad's heart. Mom's nerves, you know how they are. I nodded like an idiot. Because blood's thicker than the law. Right? That's the American way. Family first. Consequences be damned.
So I did it.
Signed the forged docs. Took the rap for the wire fraud. Pleaded out to 5 years in minimum security Chillicothe. The kind of place where tattoos are currency and hope's a contraband item. Landon swore he'd visit. Send cash for commissary. Maybe even lobby for early release. "You're saving the family, bro," he said, clapping my shoulder like we were in some World War II flick. The judge, a grizzled vet with a gavel that banged like Judgment Day, sentenced me while my parents sat stone-faced in the gallery. No tears from Dad, just that tight-lipped nod, like I'd finally done something right by disappearing. Prison was a slow bleed. Days blurred into gray routines, chow hall slop that tasted like regret, yard time dodging shivs, and soul-crushing boredom. I read every business book in the library. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The lean startup scrawling notes on napkins. Letters from home? Sporadic at best. Moms were perfunctory. We're praying for you.
Dear.
Landon got promoted. Dads? A single postcard. Pull yourself up. Son. This is your wake-up call. Landon's?
Zilch.
Radio silence from the golden boy. But I had a secret weapon, the prison Wi-Fi loophole. Some bleeding heart program let inmates access educational sites for an hour a day. I dove into dropshipping, e-commerce hacks, the underbelly of Amazon FBA. Late nights under my bunk's flickering bulb, I'd sketch logos for Oakwood Essentials, home goods for the forgotten man, rugged flannel shirts, cast iron skillets, motivational mugs that said shit like rise and grind. Prisoner. It was dumb, desperate, but it clicked. First sale came 3 months in. Some ex-con's wife bought a $19.99 leather wallet. Felt like cracking the Enigma code. Parole hit in 2023. Early for good behavior. I stepped out into a world that had fast-forwarded without me. TikTok billionaires. Crypto crashes. Parents who'd aged a decade in 5 years. They picked me up in Dad's sensible Honda. The silence thicker than Ohio fog. Welcome home. Oak, Mom said, patting my knee like I was a puppy. Landon wasn't there. Busy with a merger, Dad grunted. At dinner that night, over meatloaf and mashed potatoes, they laid into me. What now? Dad asked, fork stabbing his plate. You gonna flip burgers? Or that online nonsense you babbled about in letters? It's not nonsense, I said, voice steady as rebar. Dropshipping. I've got inventory lined up. A Shopify store ready to launch. Laughter rippled. Dad's bark. Mom's titter. And from the head of the table, Landon's video call cameo. His face pixelated on an iPad. Online business?
Bro.
That's for basement dwellers and pyramid schemers. Stick to Uber Eats. Leave the real money to the pros. His grin was all teeth, like a shark in a suit. They toasted to my fresh start, but their eyes said, failure's your inheritance.
Kid.
I moved into the basement that week. A damp cave with concrete walls and a single bulb swinging like a noose. Days blurred into code, sourcing AliExpress knockoffs. Optimizing SEO for affordable American grit. Nights, I'd eavesdrop on upstairs chatter, Landon's visits. His boasts about scaling to unicorn status. The family fawning. Our boy's a visionary, Dad would say. Me, the punchline. Oakley's playing eBay, Landon joked once. Loud enough to carry. Bet he makes $50 a month hawking tube socks. But I built in the shadows. First month, $2,347 in sales. Second, $18,000. I funneled it into ads. Influencers. A ghostwriter for blog posts that read like Hemingway on steroids. Oakwood Essentials exploded. Viral TikToks of unboxing videos. Reddit threads calling it the everyman brand. By spring 2024, we hit 6 figures. I kept it quiet, wiring cash to a separate account, watching the balance climb like a middle finger to gravity. The hook was in deep now. Landon started sniffing around. Casual questions over beers. Heard you're dabbling online.
Need a loan?
I could consult. His eyes gleamed with that old hunger, the same one that got us here. I smiled, sipped my IPA.
Nah.
I'm good. Just tinkering.
Inside.
The plan uncoiled like a spring-loaded trap. Revenge isn't a sprint, It's a marathon through the moral gray, where every step questions if you're the hero or the heel. Summer heat baked Cleveland into a skillet, and with it came the first cracks. Mom's bridge club whispered about Oakley's little side hustle. Dad grumbled about wasted basement space. Landon? He doubled down, inviting me to a family strategy session in the den. Maps of his empire spread like war plans. See this? He said, pointing to pie charts. That's real disruption.
Your.
Whatever. It's cute, but scale matters. I nodded, biting my tongue till it bled. The secret I'd buried, the one that cost me half a decade, was a live wire under my skin, sparking visions of exposure. One night, scrolling dark web forums on a VPN, old prison habits die hard. I found the thread. A whistleblower, anonymous, dropping docs on Landon's firm. Not just Ponzi, insider trading, laundering through NFTs. The works. My name was redacted in the originals, but the metadata?
Sloppy.
It screamed Landon. Heart pounding. I downloaded it all, encrypted it on a thumb drive hidden in my boot. This was the ammo. But firing it meant torching the family pyre. Was I the avenger or the arsonist?
By fall,
Oakwood hit $500,000 quarterly. I upgraded to a loft downtown, exposed brick. Skyline views that mocked the suburbs. Parents called it a phase, Landon a fluke. Invites dried up, holidays were texts. Isolation sharpened the edge. I hired a PI. Loki. The kind who chain-smokes Camels and knows every bail bondsman from here to Toledo. Reports piled up. Landon's fiancé bailing after creative accounting rumors. Investors pulling out. Dad's blood pressure spiking at whispers of audits. The climax brewed like a storm over Lake Erie. Christmas Eve 2024. I showed up uninvited. Arms loaded with gifts, custom Oakwood leather journals engraved with family first. The tree twinkled in the bay window. Bing Crosby crooning carols. They froze in the doorway. Mom in her reindeer sweater. Dad with eggnog mustache. Landon nursing a scotch. Brittany's ghost in a framed photo on the mantel. Oakley, Dad said, voice flat as Midwest plains. Didn't know you were coming. Surprise, I said, stepping in, the cold air clinging like accusation. We sat in the living room. Fire crackling. Tension thick as fruitcake. Small talk curdled quick. Landon's latest pivot. My lucky streak. Then I dropped it. The laptop on the coffee table. Screen glowing with my dashboard. $1 million in black ink. Sales projections, 7 figures next quarter. Silence. Then the dam broke. Mom gasped. Hand to pearls. Dad leaned in, squinting like it was a magic trick. Landon? His laugh was forced. A hyena's bark. Photoshop? Come on.
bro.
What's the angle? No angle, I said, voice steady. Just execution. While you were schmoozing VCs, I was grinding. No shortcuts. No lies. The room tilted. Their eyes shock. Envy. A flicker of shame. For the first time, I wasn't the shadow. But the real bomb, ticking in my pocket. That thumb drive. One click, and the Golden Boy's facade crumbled. Forgive or fire. The night stretched, fraught with what-ifs. That Christmas truce was fragile as spun sugar, melting under the heat of unspoken grudges. We passed the ham in awkward slices, laughter forced like bad improv. Landon dominated, spinning yarns about his imminent IPO, but his eyes darted to my laptop like it was a grenade. Dad clapped me on the back once. Hell of a turnaround, son. But it rang hollow, laced with the subtext. Too little. Too late. Mom fluttered. Serving seconds no one wanted. Her smiles brittle as the ornaments on the tree. By New Year's, the calls started. Dad first. Gruff over speaker. Oak. That million real? Thinking retirement. Could use a loan against it. Then Mom. Teary. We're so proud.
Honey.
Landon says it's volatile.
Though.
Be careful. Landon? Direct texts. Congrats. Hustler. Dinner? Talk synergies. Synergies. The word slithered like a snake in Eden, promising partnership but hiding fangs. I played along, meeting him at a sports bar in Shaker Heights, neon brewer signs. The crack of bats on ESPN, air thick with fry grease and male bravado. He slid into the booth, Armani casual, nursing a bourbon neat. Look, Oak, he said, leaning in, voice pitched low like we were plotting a heist. Your thing's blowing up. Oakwood, solid brand. But you're flying solo. I got connections. We merge. I handle ops. You do product. 50-50. We crush Amazon. His pitch was velvet over steel. The same charm that reeled in suckers for his scam. I sipped my Bud Light, letting the foam settle. What's the catch? Lon, you don't do favors. He grinned. That golden boy flash, perfect teeth. No cracks. No catch. Family.
Right?
Besides, Dad's writing me about legacy. This could be it. Legacy. The word twisted like a knife in my gut. 5 years of my prime. Flushed for his legacy. A house of cards built on my sacrifice. I nodded.
Vague.
Bought the next round. That night, back in my loft, I paced the hardwood. City lights bleeding through blinds like accusations. Merge? It'd legitimize him. Launder his sins through my sweat. Or expose now. Watch him burn? The PI's latest dossier burned a hole in my inbox. Landon's firm hemorrhaging. Desperate for an infusion. My million was the lifeboat. Spring 2025 thawed the ice. But not the chill. Oakwood scaled, warehouses in Akron. Collabs with podcasters hawking my grit kits to burn out millennials. Forbes did a blurb, from felon to founder. Oakley's unlikely empire. Viral. Vicious. Trolls dug up my record. But sales spiked 40%. I ignored the noise. Funneled profits into the war chest. The thumb drive? Locked in a safe. A digital sword of Damocles. Family dynamics flipped like a bad coin. Dad started forwarding real estate listings. Investment op.
Son.
Your capital. My advice. Mom hosted empire dinners, where Landon and I sat like rival CEOs. Pitching over prime rib. He'd undermine subtle. Dropshipping's a bubble.
Oak.
One tariff hike. Poof. I'd counter with metrics. Cold facts that left him fidgeting. The power shift was intoxicating. A slow poison. For the first time, Dad's eyes lingered on me longer. Mom's hugs tighter. But Landon? His smile sharpened, resentment simmering like moonshine. The first flip came in April. Tax season's grim reaper. IRS audit on Oakwood routine, they said. But the letter cited irregular funding sources. I knew the hand, Landon's. PI confirmed it, a panicked email chain. Him tipping an ex-employee to flag me, hoping to bleed my cash for lawyers. Collateral, he called it in a bar rant, sloshed on scotch. If your little shop folds, you come crawling. We rebuild together. Rage boiled, black and tarry. I confronted him at his condo, overlooking the river, glass walls, minimalist furniture that screamed I matter. He answered in silk pajamas,
Smirking. Oak.
Midnight visit? Miss me? You sicked the feds on me, I said, voice low thunder. To what? Force a bailout. His face shifted, charmed to chill in a blink. Paranoia from the big time?
Come on.
Audits happen, but his eyes betrayed him, flicking to his phone like it held escape. We circled like wolves, words as teeth. You owe me, Lon, I hissed. 5 years. My life for yours. He laughed.
Bitter.
Oh, you chose it. Hero complex and all. Family man. Remember? Or was that just your ticket to relevance? The truth landed like a haymaker. He never thanked me. Never acknowledged the cage I took. He poured scotch. Offered a glass. Peace? Poison? I declined. Stormed out into the rain-slick streets. Tires hissing on wet asphalt. That audit? I lawyered up. Clean as a whistle. But it cost $50K. A nick that stung. Oakwood rebounded, hitting 1.5 mil by Memorial Day. Parades of red, white, blue, fireworks over the lake. BBQs where strangers slapped my back. Heard about you.
Man.
American Dream 2.0. But home? Fractured. Dad pulled me aside at a cookout. Breath sour with bud. Landon struggling. Firm's rocky. Your success could save him.
Us.
Save him, I echoed, flipping burgers that sizzled like my temper. He saved himself on my back. Dad's face crumpled, rare vulnerability. The man who preached self-reliance cracking. Blood.
Oak.
It's all we got.
Blood.
The word echoed as I drove home. Windows down. Wind whipping like judgment. The safe called. I stared at the drive. Fingers itching. Leak it anonymously? Tip the SEC? Or play longer? Let him drown? Moral quicksand. Revenge felt righteous. But the fallout? Mom's breakdowns. Dad's stroke risk. No clean hands in this game. June brought the heat wave. Tempers flaring like gas grills. Landon cornered me at a family picnic in the park. Blankets. Potato salad. Kids chasing frisbees under maple shade. Truce, he said, handing a beer. I was wrong about the audit. Heat of the moment. His apology was silk. But the eyes?
Calculating.
Merge for real. I'll sign over equity. Dad's dream, brothers united. I clinked bottles. Smiled. Thinking on it. Inside. The plan crystallized. String him along. Bleed him dry. I agreed to talks. Lawyers drafting NDAs over Zoom calls from coffee shops smelling of espresso and ambition. Oakwood-sponsored podcasts hustle hard. From the brink. My story sanitized. The prison glossed as character building. Fans flooded DMs. Inspo.
Bro.
But the hate? Felon scammer. Echoes of Landon. The antagonist unmasked himself in July. A boardwalk brawl under Coney Island lights, neon Ferris wheels spinning like fates. We'd networked in Pittsburgh. His investors eyeing my metrics. Post-dinner. Buzzed on boardwalk beers. He snapped. You're fraud.
Oak.
That million? Dumb luck. I built empires while you lifted weights in the yard. We shoved in the sand, waves lapping like laughter, fists glancing off shoulders. Cops broke it up, no charges. Just warnings and walk of shame home. Bruised ribs. Black eye, I hid it with Oakwood shades. But the flip? He called next day. Contrite. Sorry.
Man. Stress.
Let's lock the deal. Duality incarnate, charm. Cruelty. Cycle. I agreed. Heartsick. The merger docs arrived. He'd buried clauses, backdoors to siphon funds if metrics dipped. Sloppy. Desperate. Proof positive. August scorched. Secrets festering. Mom's health dipped, migraines. Doctor's visits. Worry over you boys, she confessed over tea in her kitchen. Floral wallpaper peeling like skin. Can't lose another. Guilt gnawed. My vendetta's collateral. Dad pushed harder. Sign. Oak. For her. Landon loomed. Texts pleading. Then threatening. Don't make this ugly. The basement days felt distant. But the grind? Eternal. Oakwood hit 2 mil. Expansions to apparel. Lock-up legacy tease. Ironic as hell. Media frenzy. CNBC spot. Me in a studio with that Midwestern drawl. Spinning redemption. Viewers split. Cheers for the underdog. Jeers for the ex-con.
Like me. Gray.
By Labor Day, the noose tightened. SEC raided Landon's office. Unrelated. They claimed, but my leak? Timed it weeks prior. Anonymous drop. Whispers reached Cleveland. Feds circling. Assets frozen. He called. Voice shattered. Oak. It's bad. Need you. Brother. I hung up. Heart hammering. The million silenced him? No. The truth would shatter all. Climax loomed. Controversial as a Supreme Court leak. Expose. Destroy the myth. But orphan the family? Or forgive? Let rot fester? Rain lashed my loft windows. Thunder rumbling like doubt. September's equinox brought balance. Or imbalance. Depending on where you stood in the family fault line. Leaves turned bloody in the Cuyahoga Valley, mirroring the red ink bleeding from Landon's ledgers. His calls escalated from pleas to paranoia, voicemails at 3 a.m., slurred with single malt desperation. Oak. It's a witch hunt. You know me clean. Help with bail. Lawyers. For Dad. I deleted them. Each swipe a small exorcism. But the ghosts lingered. Oakwood, meanwhile, was a freight train off the rails in the best way. We'd pivoted to subscription boxes, Survivor's Kit, monthly drops of tools for the down but not out. Barbed wire bracelets, journals with prompts like, what scar are you proud of? Sales rocketed to 3 mil quarterly. Blue-check influencers unboxing on the gram. My face, plastered on billboards along I-71. Oakley Voss, from bars to boss. Irony thick as Cleveland smog. The media circus amped the tension. A pod with Joe Rogan, me chain-smoking the mic. Dropping prison truths. Bars teach you leverage.
Joe.
Inside or out. Clips went nuclear. Half the internet hailing me as Horatio Alger 2.0. The other half doxing my PO. Parents watched from afar. Dad clipped articles. Tacked them in his garage like trophies. Mom prayed harder. Rosary beads clicking like a countdown. Landon flipped again mid-month. Cornering me at a neutral site. Neutral ground coffee shop in University Circle. Hipsters tapping laptops amid the scent of oat milk lattes. He looked hollowed, stubble shadowing that chiseled jaw, eyes darting like a cornered fox. The leak, he hissed, sliding into my booth uninvited. You? After everything? I stirred my black drip, calm as lake calm before a squall.
Leak?
SEC's got their nose in your books.
Lawn.
Maybe it's karma. His fist clenched on the table, knuckles whitening laminate. Karma? You think 5 years buys a throne? I made you. Oak gave you purpose. Without me, you're still flipping crusty burgers. Purpose. The word ignited the powder keg. You made me a felon. I shot back. Voice a whip crack. I carried your sins so you could play king. And for what? To mock my online hobby while you laundered lies? Heads turned, barista paused mid-foam, but we were in the bubble. Brothers at war. He leaned in, breath hot with mint over mint julep ghosts.
Fine.
You want truth? It wasn't just the firm. Remember '09? Dad's accident. The DUI he buried? I covered. You were too young to know. Family tax. My gut twisted. Dad's minor fender bender, the one that vanished from records? Landon's doing, hacked DMV. Greased palms. Another secret. Another layer of the pyre I'd fed. The revelation hung. Controversial as a pardon for the rich. Was he monster or martyr? I stormed out, coffee sloshing, rain greasing the streets like oil. That night, loft aglow with screens. I cross-checked. PI confirmed it. Dad's slate wiped clean on Landon's dime. Early empire building. Teenage hacker shit. Gratitude or grudge. The lines blurred. My revenge, a funhouse mirror. October chilled the air. Pumpkins grinning from porches like jackals. Oakwood Halloween drop. Phantom founder, masks. My silhouette in matte black. Sold out in hours. Profits hit $4 million. Enough to buy the old family house outright. But I held. Instead, charity pivot. Donations to re-entry programs. Optics gold, but heart real. Prison scars run deep. I funneled 10% to halfway houses. Quiet amends. Family imploded at Thanksgiving preview, a pre-holiday summit Mom insisted on. Turkey test run in her kitchen. Tensions simmered as she basted. Dad carved opinions. Landon arrived last. Gaunt in a hoodie that swallowed him. Progress? Dad asked, eyeing us like rival bids. Mergers on ice, I said, plating yams. Landon's fork scraped ceramic. Because of your sabotage. Mom's face paled. Dad's vein throbbed. Boys, she whispered. Not here. But here it erupted. Landon slammed his fist. He leaked the docs.
Dad.
My life's ash because Oakley's got a grudge boner. Dad turned to me. Eyes steel. That true? Silence stretched. Pie cooling untouched. I met his gaze. He leaked mine first. IRS.
Tit for tat.
The room fractured. Mom sobbed into her apron. Dad muttered about disloyalty, the bootstrap gospel curdling. Landon bolted, door slamming like a gavel. I followed into the crisp night, leaves crunching underfoot. Why?
Lawn?
I was building us up. He whirled, breath fogging. Up, you're erasing me. Golden Boy's yesterday's news. Dad looks at you now like you're the sun. Vulnerability cracked his armor, not cunning, just crushed ego. I covered for you too. You know. That we'd bust in high school? Expunged it. Another flip. Another debt. My head spun. Tit for tat tallied in invisible ledgers. We parted truceless. Him to his condo. Me to the car. Radio blaring Springsteen, Born to Run. The drive home blurred headlights into halos. Doubt my co-pilot. November's gray-draped Cleveland like a shroud. Oakwood Black Friday Blitz, drones dropping boxes on doorsteps. My face in targeted ads. Unlock your legacy. 5 mil haul. But the high soured. Paparazzi camped my loft. Vultures for the feud. A TMZ blip. Brothers at war. Voss empire crumbles?
Lies.
But they stung. Dad called. Voice gravel. Come over. Talk. The house felt smaller. Walls closing. He sat in his lazy boy. Remote idle. TV murmuring Fox News. Your mother's breaking.
Oak.
This revenge, it's poison. Not accusation, plea. Landon's not evil. Flawed. Like us. You took the fall 'cause you loved him. Don't undo it with hate.
Flawed.
The word echoed as I drove away. Wipers slapping rain. The safes drive mocked me, click, and SEC feasts. But Mom's face? Collateral carnage. I delayed. Grinding harder. Oakwood app launch. AI-curated kits for personal reinvention. Users raved. Oakley gets it. Real talk from the trenches. Landon's desperation peaked mid-month. Email chain to investors. CCNG me. Strategic alliance with Oakwood. Lifeline. Desperate.
Dumb.
I forwarded to my lawyer. Prepping countersuit for fraud. But the twist gnawed. His covers for me. Dad. Was the betrayal mutual? A family chain gang? Election night loomed. Nation divided. Mirroring us. I voted absentee. Ballot heavy as lead. Post-ballot party at a dive. Peanuts on the bar. Election returns flickering. Strangers toasted my rise. I nursed a whiskey. Ghosts crowding. Phone buzzed, Mom. Landon's arrested. Embezzlement. Bail's 2 mil. The call hit like a freight. I drove through sodium-lit streets. Heart dual drumming. Justice or jailbait. At the station. Fluorescent hell. He sat cuffed. Jumpsuit clowning his Armani days. Oak, he rasped. Eyes hollow. Don't let it end like this. End. The climax crested. Waves of what-ifs crashing. Post-bail. Expose the murder plot? Or walk? Let courts carve? Decision loomed. Gray as November skies. No heroes. Just survivors in the American grind. December dawned brittle. Frost etching windows like accusations. Landon's bail hearing was a circus. Reporters swarming the courthouse steps. Flashbulbs popping like gunfire in my peripheral. I posted the 2 mil anonymously through a shell LLC. Oakwood's war chest dented, but not broken. No thanks from him, just a nod through the bars. Eyes promising payback. You're in deep now. Bro, he muttered as deputies let him out. Deep? We'd both drowned years ago. This was just resurfacing the bodies. Mom's gratitude was a smothering quilt. Calls at dawn. Casseroles delivered to the loft like peace offerings. You saved him.
Oak.
My boys together.
Dad?
Gruffer thanks over golf on TV. Did right by blood. But the undercurrent? Resentment for the savior who held the whip. Oakwood churned. Holiday surge. Redemption wrapping kits with bows that read second chances. 6 mil close. But the buzz soured with headlines. Felon bro bails out tycoon twin? Landon flipped post-release. Hold up in the family basement. Irony's cruel joke. He texted alliance meet. Real talk. Neutral turf. Edge of the flats. Warehouses looming over the Cuyahoga like forgotten gods. River oily under holiday lights. We walked the towpath. Breath clouding. Crunch of gravel under boots. Why, he asked. No preamble. The leak. The bail. What's the play? Play. I scoffed. Wind off the water whipping my jacket. You started it. Ponzi. Audits. Mockery. I finished it. He stopped, face shadowed by a sodium lamp. Finished? You think this silences me? Dad worships you now. Mom too. I'm the joke. Pity flickered, unwanted. Unwelcome. The golden boy. Dethroned. Crown askew. You were always the joke.
Lawn.
Hiding behind hacks and hype. I took the fall so you could shine.
And you?
Laughed. He flinched. Then rallied. Cunning resurfacing. Shine? It was for us. Dad's debts. Mom's meds, I built the buffer. Your business? Flash in the pan. One bad quarter. You're back to ramen. The barb landed. Stirring doubts. Oakwood's metrics? Volatile. Supply chains fraying with tariffs. His words wormed. Was my empire glass? We parted uneasy. Him to shadows. Me to the car. Radio static hissing like snakes. Christmas loomed, fraught as a minefield. I showed, anyway. Arms full of Oakwood swag, custom knives etched, forged in fire. The tree sagged under ornaments. Air heavy with pine and pine sol. Dinner was a minefield, turkey dry as grudges, wine flowing loose lips. Dad raised a glass to Oakley's million. And Landon's comeback. Cheers hollow, eyes sliding. Post-feast. Den cleared for business. Landon unrolled charts, his pivot plan, merging our streams into Voss Ventures. Synergy, he pitched. Voice salesman slick. Your grit. My networks. We dominate. Clauses buried. He controlled IP. Veto on spends. Snake oil. But Dad nodded. Mom clasped hands. Pressure cooker, sign. Or shatter. I countered. Equity first. Full audit on your books. His jaw tightened. Audit? After the bail. The room iced. Mom teared. Please?
Boys.
Dad's gavel voice. Compromise.
Oak.
Family over fine print. Compromise. The word choked me. 5 years of no compromise in a cell. I signed. Provisional. Heart leaden. Merger announced New Year's. Press release ghostwritten. Photos staged in a conference room smelling of fresh paint and false starts. Headlines hailed Brovingers. From feud to fortune. Stocks his frozen. Mines soaring, ticked up. But the safes drive? Still there. A heartbeat away from detonation. January 2025, wait.
No.
The world's 2025 now. But my calendar's revenge brought the wolves. Investors swarmed. Due diligence digging. Landon skeletons rattled. Offshore whispers. That '09 hack surfacing in a buried report. My lawyer flagged it. I sharp. Pull out. Clean break. But pulling meant admitting the rot. Tanking Voss Ventures pre-launch. Landon sensed the noose. Flipping to frantic, late-night voicemails. Oak. We're in this. Don't bail, huh? Irony.
Huh.
I met him at a gym in Tremont clanging weights. Sweat and iron scent masking fear. He spotted my bench press. Grunting encouragement.
See?
Team. Post set. Sound as steam. He confessed. The Ponzi? Started small. 4 moms chemo scare. False alarm. But momentum snowballed. You taking the hit? Save my ass.
Yeah.
But I never forgot. Forgot? The sound of fogged truth steaming out. Then why the mocks? The audits? He wiped brow.
Fear.
You rising? Threatened the throne.
Petty.
Stupid. Vulnerability again, human. Hated. We emerged pink-skinned. Alliance frayed but holding. February's Valentines, ironic for love's laborers, cracked the facade. Brittany resurfaced. Ex-fiancé with a tell-all itch. Lunch at a bistro. Mimosas bubbling. Landon's a chameleon, she said. Nails tapping glass. Charm till cornered. Then claws. Docs she smuggled. Emails proving he framed me for the IRS tip. Payback for a snubbed invite. Motive? Ego.
Pure.
Rage reignited. But tempered. I leaked select bits to a blogger, anonymous. Surgical. Whispers hit. Voss merger mayhem? Landon called furious. You? Again? Denial my shield. Market talk. Bro. Trust eroded. Merger stumbling. Investors balking. Projections slashed. Dad's heart scare mid-month. Mild attack. Yar fluorescent hell. I sat vigil. Mom's hand cold in mine. Landon paced. Blaming. Stress from this shitshow. Shitshow? Our doing. Docs cleared him. But the mirror? Shattered. End it. Mom begged post-discharge. Hospital jello jiggling. For me.
End it?
The climax swelled. Controversial crest. March Madness bracketed our chaos. TV cheers mocking our jeers. Oakwood soloed a tourney sponsorship. Balls bouncing like dodged truths. Profits dipped, merger drag, but core strong. Landon pushed a relaunch gala. Black tie at the Rock Hall. Lake views glittering. Night of. I arrived in Oakwood bespoke, leather jacket. Boots scarred like my soul. Flashbulbs. Schmoozes. Champagne flutes clinking like chains. Landon glad-handed. Golden again. But eyes hunted. Midway. Stage whisper. Investors pulling. Your leak. No. I lied. Sipping. Truth? Partial. Enough to wound. Not kill. He cornered me by exhibits. Bowie gold record glowing. Cut the games.
Oak.
Or, I drop your secrets, the weed, the favors. We're even. Even? The word ignited. Even? You buried me alive. Fists clenched. Crowd blurring. Security hovered. We exhaled. Smiles pasted. But the seed? Planted. Gala success, headlines mixed. Voss triumph. Or ticking time bomb? April showers washed doubts. But not stains. Merger audited. Landon's frauds unearthed. Not by me, by diligence. SEC circled wider. Subpoenas raining. He flipped to ally. Help bury it. Like old times. Old times, the cage I broke free from. I refused.
Quiet.
Voss Ventures teetered. I extracted. Buying out his stake for pennies. Blood money. Betrayal. He spat in the lawyer's office. Papers shuffling like dry leaves. From savior to slasher. Slasher? The mirror mocked. Who'd drawn first blood? Mom's calls waned. Dad's silence deafened. Oakwood rebounded solo. 7 mil spring. But hollow. The drive? Formatted. Ghosts deleted. Or not. Backup lingered. Temptations whisper. May's blooms hid thorns. Landon indicted. Wire fraud. The original sin. Trial loomed. Summer scorcher. He called from pretrial. Testify? For me. Pause pregnant. Or against. The choice. Climax's fork. Side with blood. Perjure for family? Or truth? Torch the myth. Split the nation, readers. Us. Gray as Ohio overcast. No victors. June's solstice stretched days long. Shadows short, fitting for truths laid bare. Landon's trial opened in federal court downtown. A concrete bunker smelling of stale coffee and desperation. I sat in the back row first day. Anonymous in Oakwood ball cap. Heart thudding like bass at a Rust Belt rave. The prosecutor. A shark in pinstripes. Paraded witnesses. Jilted investors. Teary retirees who'd bet nests on his vision. Exhibits flashed, ledgers. Emails. My forged Siga Ghostin machine. Landon took the stand midweek. Sue crisp but eyes haunted. It was ambition gone awry, he testified. Voice steady as a TED Talk. Family pressures. My brother's sacrifice inspired me to atone. Inspired? The gallery murmured. Mom dabbed eyes. Dad stone. Cross-exam shredded him. Atone? By framing said brother for IRS evasion. Objections flew. Judges gavel cracking like bones. My subpoena arrived Thursday. Serve hot in the loft, process server smirking like fate's errand boy. Testify? The word looped. Sleepless nights pacing brick floors. City hum mocking. Oakwood autopiloted. 8 mil Q2. Expansions to podcasts, bars to billions. My voice gravelly tales of grind. Fans flooded. Rooting for the underdog. But family? Shrapnel. Mom cornered me pre-test. Kitchen siege. Pie cooling on sill. Tell the truth. Oak, but gentle. He's your blood. Truth gentle? Like a scalpel in silk. Dad grunted over phone. Do right. Legacy's watching. Legacy. The chain we'd forged. Link by lie. Courtroom Friday. Wood paneling scarred by decades of deals dashed. AC humming judgment. I swore in. Hand steady on Bible, I half believed. Prosecutor first. Mr. Voss. Did you assume responsibility for Mr. Landon's fraud in 2018? Gallery hushed. Landon's eyes locked mine. Plea and poison. Yes, I said. Voice echoing. To protect family. Gasps rippled. Mom's sob audible. Details tumbled. The docs. The plea. Prison's gray grind. Jurors leaned in. Faces a jury of my peers, blue-collar stares. Skeptical nods. Defense turn. Landon's lawyer. Silver fox with ivy drawl. And post-release. Mr. Voss. Your success, Oakwood Essentials. Did my client undermine it? Trap sprung. I paused. Air thick.
Yes.
IRS tip. Merger sabotage. Whisper swelled. Judge banged quiet. Motive. Jealousy, I said flat. Power shift. Landon flinched. Visible crack. The cross deepened, but you bailed him out. Leaked docs anonymously. Denial my armor. Markets talk. Lie? Half. The drive's ghost hovered. Testimony closed. I bolted, elevator drop like free fall. Streets swallowing me. Verdict loomed July 4th. Irony's fireworks. Oakwood sponsored the parade. Floats with my logo. Kids waving rise up banners. Crowds cheered. Inside. Hollow. Profits hit 9 mil. But the crown?
Thorny.
Independence Day dawned muggy. Grills smoking freedom scent. Court packed. Overflow room TV flickering like bad omens. Jury filed in. Faces unreadable as poker. Foreman rose. Guilty. Counts 1 through 7. Gavel fell. Chaos, sobs. Shouts. Landon slump. Mom collapsed into Dad. I stood frozen.
Victor or Vandal?
Sentence August. 12 years. Chillicothe, my old haunt. He looked at me dockside. Cuffs glinting. You got your million, he mouthed. But the silence? Bought with my voice. Twist's knife. In closing, he'd outed the '09 hack, Dad's DUI cover. My high school wipe. Judge noted. But no charges, statute shadows. Fallout fractured. Parents retreated. Dad's garage a bunker. Mom's bridge club gossip fodder. Our boys, she whispered once. Hug bone thin. Ruined each other. Ruined? Or redeemed? Oakwood soared to 10 mil. But invites ceased. Holiday solo. Turkey for one. Twist crested September. Leaked audio. Landon's jail call to a podcaster. Spilling all. Oakley didn't just take the fall. He orchestrated the rise. Prison? His MBA. My empire? His shadow play. Lies? Partial truths. I'd mentored inmates on ecom. Seeded his tips with red herrings. The world split, heroes or heels. Forums raged. Oakley puppet master versus Landon's sour grapes. Debate ignited. Was I avenger? Architecting from bars? Or opportunist? Profiting on pain? My million silenced him. Yes, but amplified echoes.
Ending?
No tidy bow. Oakwood philanthropied re-entry. But nights? Whiskey neat. Staring ledgers like lovers lost.
Now.
December 2025, anniversary of that first hook email. Unraveling his web. Loft views the lake. Frozen and fierce. Parents thaw slow. Dad golfs occasional. Mom bakes tentative. Landon? Letters from the yard. Penitent scroll. Wrote a book in here. Golden Fall. Your story, too. Forgiveness? Brewing. Gray as ever. Revenge's aftertaste? Bitter chicory in Morning Joe. I won the war. But the peace? Fractured family. Moral mirrors cracked. Readers, you judge. Silence villain. Or silent self. In America, success is sweetest when shared, but damn if it don't taste like ash alone. The cursor blinks. Story done. But the real tale? Still writing itself. One controversial click at a time.